Hello, my beautiful community. Welcome back to Mama Magik. I'm your host, Emma, and this is the podcast where we talk about all things witchy, manifestation, magic, and self-concept. It's witchy season, it's Halloween's Eve, and we have a new moon happening the day after Halloween with the Scorpio energy. It's dark, it's intense, it's deep. Shadow work has become my best friend during this phase, and I'm here to share with you all the reflections that I've been taking in. I was wanting to share my podcast weekly, and then it went to bi-weekly, and then it went to every third week. And I just kept putting it off, and I had such a block around sharing. And now that I've lifted that from myself and just taken away the have to with my brand and my business, I find that I'm showing up every week to hit record and to share with you. And I have such joy in it. And there's no stigma around it for me, or I have to, I want to, and it's become so easy. And I just love that for myself. I love that being such a conditioned girly prior to following routines and meeting deadlines and working by the clock, for the clock, really. I love the freedom that I have in my lifestyle today. And I just love that so much for myself. And that's what life is about, isn't it? It's about freedom. And that can draw us to wanting more money. That can draw us to wanting more sense of community, more sense of ourselves, just to attain this freedom of life. And I've learned in my journey that freedom is a state of mind, baby. It is a state of mind. And once you get that state of mind, your life does start reflecting to you how free you are. So this episode is about embodiment. I thought that was the perfect topic with Halloween tomorrow. Everyone in their costumes. What a fun way to take on an identity, to role play, to personality play. We have so many contrasts within ourselves of different personalities, of different timelines that we can jump into, jump off of, switch around. Everything is changeable moment by moment. Everything is energetic, and you can shift and change energy just as easy as you can breathe air. So with the embodiment practices, embodiment is taking on an identity of what you wish to be. And with this episode of my podcast, I want to just gently remind you that as you're getting into Halloween play too, just be a little mindful of the costumes that you are putting on and the embodiment that you are doing, even in fun, because that is still an embodiment practice and that it is still you taking on a role. This is very powerful work, embodiment practice. You are literally taking on that energy of what you're accepting to put on yourself. So just keep that in mind with your costumes this year. I don't want to take the fun out of Halloween, but I can't help but say something with this intentional living practice that I've had consume my life in the best possible way. I can't help but say that. Please don't take the fun out of it, but just be mindful of what you are embodying this Halloween. That being said, the power of embodiment begins with mirror work, which I've talked about in a couple episodes before. Something that I've been including in my mirror work practice this week that has brought such a powerful intensity to my practice, again, in the best possible way, is I go to my mirror and I stare into my eyes for 5-10 minutes, and I just get lost in my own gaze. I begin by staring directly into my left side, into my left eye, as this is the part of your body. This is the feminine side of your energetic body, the receiving side. So when I want to do affirmations or intentional work in the mirror, I always speak looking into my third eye, looking into my left side. And yeah, I guess speaking to my third eye. So I'm looking into the left side of my body, and I begin my gaze by just leveling it with my third eye. I want to keep saying with the left side of my body. And I just stare into my eyes, staring at my reflection, allowing space for whatever comes up. Now, to get into a little background of this, You may have heard my story in previous episodes. I was a cult kid. I was raised in a super religious community, and we had some practices, and mirrors were not really supported. Having a mirror around was kind of like vanity. Looking in a mirror too long was not a good thing. I've had a lot of negative connections with mirrors because of my upbringing, and mirrors were a portal for evil, basically. Which, being a witch, I have completely revamped my thinking around mirror work and see them as the magical portal that they really are. But how often is that something that we come to as we grow and as we mature on a spiritual, on a mind, body, soul connection level, sometimes in our past, that could have been something that haunted us or something that had such a block before. So I love that complete 360 of energy work. So mirrors are a powerful portal, and I've touched on this before. I am a proud yoni speaker. I speak to my yoni in the mirror daily. I love to speak affirmations to my body, looking at myself. I love this. I love doing this practice before going out somewhere or before I start my day. I just kind of like speak like hot girl vibes into myself in the mirror, and it reflects right back into my being. So speaking to the left side, the left eye, speaking affirmations, incorporate that into your practice and you will feel the power instantly. So with this gazing, I do not recommend 5 to 10 minutes when you're just getting started. Even do 60 seconds. If looking at your reflection is not comfortable for you, just do it for a few seconds. Work your way up. Baby steps always. And I also love to make myself a little uncomfortable on a regular basis. So I understand if you're like that too. I started with a 3-minute because I love working with 3. So I started with a 3-minute time frame, and I just looked at myself. I allowed whatever thoughts came to just let them pass on through. I took notice of what made me uncomfortable about staring at myself. I took notice of how my face was tense, where I felt tension in my body looking at myself. And these are all cues of where energetic work can be done. Like, say you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you see that you're frowning. You see that your forehead is really tense. You could be struggling with a lot of stress, with a lot of overthinking. Maybe you're looking at yourself and you're kind of like, your lips are turned down, like you're not smiling. You're not in a happy space. This could just be a sign that there needs to be more joy in your life. So take stock of yourself as you're looking at yourself in the mirror. Take gentle stock of what's going on. There's never any judgment. This is a judgment-free zone when we show up for ourselves. It's a judgment-free zone, baby. So just look at yourself with love. Send love to yourself. Incorporate this into your practice and let me know what comes up for you. I know for me that with embodiment, again, going back to my upbringing, no expression of art, of love, of passion in my childhood. It was just very by the clock, this is what you have to do when you have to do it. And I did not feel free to express myself on any kind of level. So mirror work has really impacted my life because it's given me that portal of expression into myself that I've been craving more than half of my life. I think you're going to find a lot of power incorporating any kind of mirror work practice into your routine. Embodiment begins with the mirror work. You need to look at yourself and see what comes up for you. And things that come up that you're not happy with, this is where the embodiment comes in. This is where we shift the energy around. So I know when I started my mirror work practice, I've had children young, and I've come to loving terms with my body since having children. The first time that I did mirror work practice, my gaze instantly went down to my stomach and my stretch marks. And I felt myself kind of cringe. I felt all of the low self-concepts come up. I felt uncomfortable looking at myself in the mirror. I even felt ashamed that this is what other people had to see. It was really painful for me to at first look at myself, and this breaks my heart now. And I'm so happy that I've become a girly who can just be obsessed with herself, for herself, and I just love that for me. But when I first started, this is where my headspace was at. And I had learned about shifting energy. I had learned about being the manifestor of my life, literally being the magician with the wand, and things I didn't like, I just went, nah, and put my little sprinkle of magic over there, and it adjusted to my liking. I've seen that in my life up to this moment. So I was like, okay, I am going to do this with my body. I have heard about people doing this. I am going to do this. I'm going to change my body by changing my mindset. Because again, everything is energy. Change your mind, change your life. So I allowed my gaze to go down to my stomach area, my stretch marks, and the areas of my body that weren't perfect in my eyes. And I spoke love into that space in myself. And I spoke gratitude, and I spoke acceptance, and I spoke to myself in the mirror. Girl, look at you. You're so snatched. Your body looks so good. I felt crazy saying these things to myself because it's not how I felt. But the more I spoke that into my reflection, the more I began to feel it. I don't care if this sounds corny. I've learned that corny is where it's at because it is just down to the basics. The basics are the most powerful concepts that we can integrate because that's what it is. Speaking these positive affirmations into yourself will create the life that you want because you are now embodying it. The words are ricocheting off of the mirror energy into your own energy, creating this powerful dynamic within yourself that's going to generate all this energy around you, around your energetic being, attracting even more of this desired energy into your life. Embodiment's fun. It's just like Halloween with the costumes, with being creative with how we look. It's fun. It's fun to toy with personalities and to flirt with different dynamics of your life. It's fun to embody it and see how you feel, see what feels safe within your being. So use this mirror practice, this embodiment practice to really flirt with whatever area you want to be. Like, this is when your childhood dreams should come into play. Since returning to content, I've realized that as a child, I would always imagine being famous. I'd watch Hilary Duff movies and perform concerts in front of my mirror with a hairbrush after. I would take a home video camera and go around my house interviewing my family members about how their day was and who they wanted to be when they grew up. I've always wanted to have some kind of influence for humanity in my life. Embodiment practice has allowed me to have the space to feel safe to do so, to show up for myself, to have the expression of someone who's never been taught to express themselves, to have the freedom of expression and to just feel how natural that now feels for me. This all happened through mirror work, through embodiment. The manifestation community knows that you cannot manifest good things unless you are embodying the feeling that is the vibrational match for what you desire. We're manifesting all the time, 24/7. Whether it's good or whether it's bad, we're manifesting because we have embodied the energy of that which is ours. So if you're living in lack, you feel isolated, you feel judged, you feel like people are not supporting you, you feel broke, you feel unhealthy, you feel dissatisfied with life, what are you embodying? Those feelings that you feel, that's what you're embodying. That's what you are cementing into your being and saying that this is how I feel, this is me. Feelings are what bring us the things into the life that we're living. How you feel is how you are. So it is so important to have a high state of being, to have a high state of feeling. And now I know that this doesn't necessarily come easy. I've struggled with depression and anxiety and very dark thoughts and dark beliefs about myself. And it was mirror work that changed the game for me. Mirror work is the practice that you need to start implementing on a daily basis if you're struggling with embodiment. Now, with manifesting, it's all about the imagination. It's all about feeling the feels and just being in this life. Some people call it delusion. It's about imagination. It's about connecting to yourself that you may have forgotten, because how often is it that as we grow up into adulthood that we lose that magic that we had as children? We lose that zest for life. And this is why it's so healing for the inner child to tap in to this magic that is within, and to look at life through imaginative eyes, and to look at life almost like a child, with just that appreciation for the moment, and not overthinking about the past or the future, but to just be in the moment. Children are so good at that. And how often is it that we lose that as we get older, as that gets taken out of our being, almost discouraged and frowned down upon? Oh, your head's in the clouds. I'm telling you, the secret to life is having your head in the clouds. Embodiment doesn't need to be scary. It is enjoyable. And this is an affirmation that I spoke to myself throughout my self-development practice. It gets to be easy. Life is enjoyable. Life is fun. It's so easy for me, because coming from such a difficult existence up until now, that was a narrative in my life, that there were struggles, that there's difficulties, and yet I could continually overcome them. I was this machine. I was invincible. My resilience. I was speaking this into my being. And by doing so, thinking I was encouraging myself, which yes, at the time I was, but I was also attracting all of these scenarios where I had to show resilience and I had to show strength. Guess what happened when I started speaking to myself that my life is easy? All of a sudden, my life has become very, very easy, very enjoyable, very open for me to be in the present. And I'm telling you that this began with embodiment and mirror practice work. I struggle with embodiment because of my upbringing of my imagination wasn't very encouraged. So it was tough for me to tap into my imaginative state and to evoke change in my reality by first imagining it. Don't even get me started on even just having to figure out what I really wanted. Being a single parent since a teenager, do you think I ever thought about myself? And prior to that, being the oldest of 5 siblings, do you think I ever thought about myself? So that was very difficult for me at the very beginning of my manifestation journey to even figure out what I wanted. That became super clear to me once I started speaking to myself in front of the mirror. All of a sudden, things just became so crystal clear on what I desired, what I wanted, what worked for me, what didn't. And the reason was because I was able to tap into how I felt with things. If things felt good for me, I knew that's what I wanted. If things felt bad for me, that's not what I wanted. So I started living life with that judgment system of what worked and what didn't in my life, until I was able to be more fully within myself and think for myself and finally be able to be like, okay, no, this is what I want. Because when I was used to not making decisions based off of what I wanted for so long, you begin to turn that part of yourself off. You begin to stop even thinking that that's an option. Wait, what do I want? I know this is the famous question for a lot of other single parents. When do we think about what we really want? Now is the time to think about what you want. Now is the time to embody what you want to be, especially with this full moon. This new moon, especially with this new moon that is happening on November 1st, 11/1 portal, 111. It is so powerful. Right after Halloween, when you are physically embodying so many different things, there is a new moon where you can step into the full energy of that embodiment. Wow. I have goosebumps. I'm so excited for this energy. I have loved working with the moon cycles. And if you're interested in incorporating moon cycle energy into your practice, send me a DM on Instagram. I love to hear from you. And I would love to send you something that I created just recently. It's a quick little workbook about incorporating moon energy into your practice. It's just a few pages, super condensed, super easy to digest, gives you the blueprint for how to work with the moon energy to amplify the energy that you're doing with this self-development work. It's powerful. Today is the perfect day to choose yourself. Speaking of which, this was a struggle for me too at the beginning of my journey, constantly choosing myself. I hate continuing to go back to my past, but that's really the biggest comparison for myself. I've come so far just by choosing myself every single day. I've had to remind myself to do this. I've had to constantly reprogram my brain until it does become second nature. But guess what? Parents, are you hearing me? Guess what? When you pick yourself first, everything harmonious to your parenting, to your family dynamic falls into place, because a happy parent is a happy home. You need to choose yourself first. I know this goes against all the reprogramming we have as parents. Parents are the most sacrificial people in the world. We still need to choose ourselves first. We still need to embody what we want. We still need to do this. And if you can't do it for yourself yet, do it for the sake of your family. Do it for the sake of your children who are seeing that example. I'm telling you, once I switched my mentality and started choosing myself, started these mirror practices, started this embodiment work, I have seen my children transform and they've always been amazing, beautiful people. They've always been. They're my soulmates. I have seen them have such personal transformations in their lives that are nothing short of miraculous. And this is not me telling them, baby, you got to talk in the mirror to yourself. You need to do these, do your affirmations, do this. I haven't told them anything of that. I am just doing it for myself. And the energy that I'm cultivating for myself flows into my family so naturally, so seamlessly. The energy just has to react to what you're putting out all around you. If your workplace is where you spend most of your time, it's going to affect your workplace. So whether you're picking positive or negative energy to input and output is going to affect your surroundings. So when you put that energy towards your embodiment practice and you come to yourself in the mirror, you look right at yourself with intention and you speak words that you've been dying to hear your entire life into your soul, magic happens. Magic happens. We are magical beings living in a magical world. And you know this is why you're attracted to this kind of content. I don't share stuff to motivate you to become like this. I don't share stuff to convince you that this is the way to live. You have already convinced yourself of that. I speak to people who are their soul teachers. I speak to people who know to think for themselves, who know to change their life for themselves, who are already on that path. I see you because my soul sees your soul. Because the work that we are doing, it is magical, powerful work. It doesn't just affect us. It affects our families. It affects our loved ones. It affects the world. It affects the world. Since I've been doing these personal practices on myself, my world has changed. All of a sudden, and I keep saying all of a sudden because that really is how it happens. All of a sudden, my friend group is super inspirational, wealthy, magnetic people. All of a sudden, I have my soul family oozing love into my life. All of a sudden, I have passion, I have purpose, I have promise. And it all started with choosing myself first and speaking that into my being and embodying what I knew felt was right. And giving myself the freedom to just toy with things. Maybe this feels right today. Maybe it won't feel right tomorrow, and that's okay because I'm a fluid being. I'm moving like water. Things can change, and that is okay. Life is so good when you choose yourself. And using the moon energy that we are in right now, because you feel the energy 3 days prior and 3 days before. So during this week before the new moon, you may be feeling all of your nasty habits and actions and thoughts really coming to surface, really intensifying. And that's okay. Let it be. Let them move past. Take mental note, even physical note. Write it down if you feel so led. Take note of what's coming up for you that makes you ick, that makes you feel uncomfortable, that you don't like. Take note of that. Write it down. If you do physically write it down, There is a witchy practice that you can do of burning the paper and leaving the ashes to the wind and letting those things be taken into the earth, alchemized to your benefit. Let Mother Earth do her thing with what's troubling you. Do that practice anytime over these next 3 days or on the evening of the new moon. Ooh, baby. It's going to be so good. Let those things go. You have made space for what you want. And then using this time, reflect on what you want, mama. How do you want your life to be? How do you want to be? How do you want to show up for the world? How do you want to show up for your kids? How do you want to show up for yourself? Now is your time. Things are different from here on out. This podcast episode activated the portal that you needed to step into your higher timeline. This podcast episode connecting with energy like this that uplifts your soul, that uplifts your energetic vibe, that's all you need. You set the intention, the rest will follow. You set the intention, the rest will be. You are able to change your life with the most ease, with the most certainty, with the most pleasure. It is possible because you say it is. It is possible because you feel it is. So go out now in your day with this embodiment. Even this episode is the embodiment practice that you've been craving. Go out now, living your life exactly who you want to be. Are you a high value earner who makes $3,000 days passively? Completely enjoying your life and sharing your life online? Is that you? Then so be it. Go be it. Are you a baddie out here dating, traveling, getting your bag? Is that you? Go be it. What do you want? Do you want to travel the world? Do you want to be a stay-at-home mom? Use today to think about what you really want to be. Speak that into yourself. Looking into your soul, speak those words to your soul, and it will be. I promise you, it will be. I have seen it. I have come from the mud. And once you realize what you're capable of with this inner power, it becomes a daily practice. Watering that power, feeding that power with positivity, with affirmations, with magic, with worshiping of the nature of yourself, seeing everyone as one. Your life changes. Your life changes. And this is what greatness feels like. It feels like you finally seeing yourself for who you are and feeling that in the deepest core of your body. This is what greatness is. It's this moment right here. Yes, so I'm excited. You should be excited too. I look forward to hearing from you. Please reach out to me on Instagram or X. I have my socials linked below. I'm so happy to hear from you and how manifestation and magic has shown up in your life. Please share with me. I love hearing it. I love building the sense of community for myself. I've been in a very isolated period for the last couple of years of I really want to be real my whole life. And having the sense of community that I have now is unmatched. And I have so much gratitude for you and so much gratitude for me for just showing up, being who we want to be, even if we don't know who that is yet, but we're still open to all the possibilities. Sending you so much love. Happy new moon. Happy Halloween. Happy embodiment. Until next time, my beautiful community, universal love.